So we're digging into the book of Esther over the next few days, and today's reading is Esther chapter 1 verse 1 to 2 verse 18. The book of Esther is an incredible story of an incredibly courageous young woman. So verse 1, we're introduced to a proper character, King Xerxes, who ruled a vast territory from India through to Ethiopia. He was a powerful man, used to getting his own way. And the opening chapter tells us that this king wanted to display his wealth for 180 days, and he did that with marble pillars, beautiful gardens, gold and silver couches on mosaic pavements, golden goblets, the works. To cap it all off, he then hosted a 7-day banquet for all his military leaders and rulers of the provinces, all his yes men. And the party was going well. Verse 7 says the royal wine was abundant. And on the 7th day, King Xerxes, probably pumped up with alcohol and power, summoned Queen Vashti to come to the party so that all of the drunk men could look at her. For verse 11 says she was lovely to look at. The passage tells us she was ordered to come wearing her royal crown in order to display her beauty. Some commentators have speculated perhaps that was all she was ordered to wear, and unsurprisingly she refused. She did not want to be paraded like a possession, but that made the king angry. The rest of the chapter tells us he was furious at losing face in front of his cronies, and so at the advice of his counsellors he formed a grand plan. And it was this: to find a replacement for Vashti by appointing commissioners in every province to go and find the beautiful young girls, bring them to the palace, give them beauty treatments, and then be presented before the king to see which one he wanted to replace Vashti. Chapter 2 verse 4 says this advice appealed to the king. I bet it did. And then chapter 2 verses 5 to 7 we're introduced to Mordecai and his younger cousin Esther. Now Mordecai and Esther were in exile, which means they'd been forcibly taken from Jerusalem into Persia. So they'd left behind their homeland. We know that Esther's mum and dad had died, so Mordecai, as her older cousin, had kind of adopted her, was her guardian. So just think, for Esther, she'd been brought up in the Jewish faith. Her whole life she would have been expecting to marry a nice Jewish boy who she would love and be faithful to for the rest of her life. She would have been dreaming about her wedding day, making a home, maybe raising children, living a contented life. And here she is, verse 8. Her expectations of her life are dashed. It's not working out how she was expecting, how she wanted. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge for all of us when expectations of life don't work out how we wanted. Maybe we don't get the job we want. Maybe a relationship we really wanted to work out doesn't work out. Maybe we don't get the exam results we wanted. And what do? Do we get angry? Do we get bitter, self-obsessed, maybe blame God? Or do we try and find God in it all? Well, that's what Esther did. She followed Mordecai's advice, didn't reveal her nationality. 12 months of beauty treatments went by, she went before the king, and unsurprisingly she won his favour. And so the passage ends that she is appointed the new queen, and a great banquet is then held in her honour, this time called Esther's banquet.